at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. Tonight is open mic. It is December the 4th, 2025. Evolution is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the world. You have to imagine that it happened. It take a long time to call that sound bite up. Okay. SpongeBob saying, you have to imagine. Just imagine an amoeba turned to a whale. Yeah, just imagine. Anyway, you can call in tonight if you disagree.
Can you just imagine it?
What was it again?
Can you just imagine it?
Can you just imagine it? I love it. Anyway, we're on a bunch of channels. We're on Facebook, on Rumble, on X, on our own app, KentHovind.tv, our Instagram, TikTok. Sign up for all of them. And if they take us off of one, get on someplace else, okay? Let's see. We filmed 4 hours interview with George Jenko last Monday, 2 days ago. And they're going to be aired in about a week or so, right? He said?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So why keep an eye on his show? He's got lots of followers. What, 400 million?
You got a lot.
Man, something like that. Okay, here we are tonight, the 4th, December 4th. Come join us for the holidays. If you don't have a family, it will be your holiday. Come on down for Thanksgiving. Christmas, okay? Join us. We got lots of people come from all over the place. We're help us stay open for free. We serve about 3,000 meals a month and electric bill about 4,000 a month. So if you want to help us out, join our 777 club. Say, I like what you're doing. Brother, we had the bill at the lumber yard for all the lumber we're on the ark, you know. Guy came today, a vet with only had one leg. And he said, Brother Hovind, God put it on my heart to help you out. He gave us over $2,000. I took it down, gave it to the lumberyard guy. So, hey, another $3,000 will be paid up on that one. So, anyway, if you want to be a member, call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 1 or 2. Then somebody will answer the phone. DrDino.com. 9.7 years for free. Okay, here is LibreText's biology. I just typed in, is there evidence for evolution? Here's what they said. So if you got a comment, go ahead and bring it in, but I'm going to nail these guys for a few minutes. They show the picture of the gorilla hand right there. Take a close look at this gorilla hand. The similarities to a human hand are remarkable. Comparing anatomy and characterizing the similarities and differences proves evidence of evolution. Okay, Libra, who wrote this? No name on there? I'm sorry, you are deceived, okay? Stupid maybe, but certainly deceived, okay? Joseph, I got it all figured out. 1942, there's what the willies look like. 1962, 1982, 1992, 2002, 2012, 2022. The similarities of these Jeeps over many years is evidence of the Jeep's evolution from a common ancestor, probably a covered wagon, 12.6 million years ago. I think I need a government grant, about $14 million to continue the research. I'd probably get it, wouldn't I? Yeah, probably would. Maybe there's a more logical conclusion from seeing similarities. Maybe a better conclusion would be they had a common designer who used similar features like round tires to meet a common need to function in a common environment. Maybe that's why there's similarities. Maybe the gorilla hand and the human hand have similarities because a more logical conclusion might be instead of the evolved common designer used similar features like thumbs to meet a common need to function in a common environment. You guys just don't get it. You don't want to get it, I understand. Evidence from living species, LibreText. Just as Darwin did many years ago, today's scientists study living species to learn about evolution. They compare the anatomy, embryos, and DNA of modern organisms to understand how they evolved. Let me give you the Hovind translation. Just as intelligent people have done for years, today's thinking scientists study living species to learn about God's creation. They compare the anatomy, embryos, and DNA of modern organisms to understand why the Creator designed them as they are. Who'd have thunk? Maybe that might be the way they ought to do it, huh? Maybe they should give God the glory. They don't want to give God the glory for his creation. I don't have a problem with that. Many times in the day, I'll see something amazing. I say, God, you're truly amazing. Just amazing. Thank you. Thank you for loving us and letting us be part of your family. Analogous structures. See, homologous, they look the same. Analogous, they say they form totally differently, but they ended up doing the same function, really. Analogous structures that look similar in unrelated organisms. The structures are similar because they evolved to do the same job, not because they're inherited from a common ancestor. For example, the wings of bats and birds look similar on the outside. They also have the same function. However, wings evolved independently in two groups of animals. This is from that LibreText. This is apparent when you compare the pattern of bones inside the wings. There's a more logical conclusion in Libra text. Maybe they had a common designer who used similar features like round tires to meet a common need to function in a common environment. Maybe some animals need wings to fly around. Maybe there's a reason other than evolution. You guys cannot see outside your little bitty box you're locked into. Got to be evidence for don't look outside the box. Oh no, okay. Here you go. Comparative embryology, vestigial structures, comparing DNA. These are all things they say are evidence for their dumb religion. Vestigial structures like the human tailbone and whale pelvis, called vestigial structures, evolution has reduced the size because the structures are no longer used. Human appendix, another example. It's a tiny remnant of a once larger organ. In a distant ancestor, it was needed to digest food. It serves no purpose in humans today. These folks have no business writing about biology. They are stupid. Tell them I said so. You don't understand biology. Knock it off. Maybe go make video games or something else, but you don't understand biology. It was needed to digest food. It serves no purpose in humans today. Why do you think structures that are no longer used shrink in size? What might a full-sized, unused structure reduce an organism's fitness? Why might, okay. Vestigial structures, here we go. The human tailbone has no apparent use, really, okay. The coccyx, that's the tailbone, a small bone at the end of the human vertebral column. Actually, it's several bones, okay. It has no present function and is thought to be the remainder of bones that once occupied the long tail of a tree-living ancestor. Really? Somebody said, I want to see Crybaby's tailbone removed. Remember that comment? Crybaby calls in all the time. Let's see. Here is the anatomy of your hind end. You have different muscles, gluteus maximus, gluteus minimus, etc. And they attach to the pelvic region and to the tailbone. There's a very complex system of nerves and muscles that attach to the tailbone. Okay. There it is right there, the coccyx. Okay. Coccyx serves as an attachment site for tendons, ligaments, and muscles. It also functions as an insertion point of some of the muscles of the pelvic floor. Keep your guts from falling out between your legs, okay? The coccyx, let's see, functions to support and stabilize a person while he or she is in the sitting position. Really? This book says, Discover Magazine. This is all that is left of the tail that most mammals still use. They're still teaching this lie in 2004. They should have known 30 years ago it's not vestigial. Humans have a tailbone that's of no apparent use. The vestigial tailbone in humans is homologous to the functional tail of other primates. Here's Gray's Anatomy. Attachment of muscles. To 4 pairs and 1 single muscle on either side, the coccygeus, behind the gluteus maximus and exterior coccygesis was when present at the apex, the sphincter ani, and in front, the levator ani. There are all kinds of muscles that attach to the tailbone. If you think it's vestigial, I will pay to have yours removed. Bend over. I'll even sharpen my Swiss Army knife for you, just for the reason, okay? Critical thinking from Biology Today and Tomorrow. At the end of your backbone is a coccyx, a few small bones that are fused together. Could the human coccyx be a vestigial structure, or is it the start of a newly evolving structure? They give 2 options, neither of which is correct. If I said, Joy, which is correct? Elephants are orange or elephants are green? They're neither one. And both options they give here are stupid. It's a false dichotomy. Are elephants orange or elephants green? How do I answer the question, teacher? Neither one's right. You gotta choose one of them. Okay. Could they be vestigial or newly evolving? Neither one is designed just fine like it is. Human vestigial organs, the coccyx. Vestigial structures from thoughtco.com. They're not thinking at all. I'll debate all of them, okay? Let's see. No longer useful parts called vestigial structures, and humans have several of them, including a tailbone that does not have a tail connected to it, and an organ called appendix, and has no function and can be removed. Okay. Let's see. These are the so-called vestigial structures. You don't need them anymore. Ear muscles, eyebrow, eyelash, tonsils, thymus gland, male nipples, the coccyx, body hair, wisdom teeth. The coccyx is vestigial. There it is right there, the tailbone. The tailbone has attachments to various muscles, tendons, and ligaments, including the coccygeus, levator, ani, etc. Okay? Let's see. Overview of anatomy. The coccyx has several important functions. Along with being an insertion site for several muscles, ligaments, and tendons, it serves as one leg of the tripod, along with the other things providing weight-bearing support when a person is seated. Okay, so they know it's got a function. The coccyx is the terminal segment of the spine. The word coccyx derived from the Greek word from the beak of a cuckoo bird, because its similarity in appearance when the latter is viewed from the side. Coccyx has from 3 to 5 fused segments. The largest articulates with the lowest sacral segment. Okay. They're saying it's vestigial. There are 3 to 5 bones and 9 muscles that attach to the bones. They're used to support the pelvic muscle floor, complex muscle system, the colon, and aid in defecation. Take your coccyx out, you got real problems going potty. Might want to wear Depends or something else, okay? They allow anchor muscles that allow pelvic thrust to make babies. They support properly aid in birthing babies. Evolution news from the steadily shrinking catalog of functionless organs, now the tailbone. They finally decided to take it off the list. Got to take that one off. There is nothing on the list that should be on there. There are no vestigial structures, none, okay? There's the coccyx, the tailbone. Let's see, recently I was invited to give a talk on the evidence for intelligent design at a course in a state university. One of the questions came up was whether there's a function for the coccyx. I explained the tailbone is not a useless vestigial organ. It has a function. It served as attachment point for various muscles and tendons. Despite its small size, it has several important functions. You can read up on this. Why are they still teaching this as evidence for evolution? Because they don't have any other evidence, do you? All you have are lies to support your stupid religion. Why humans have tailbones? Oh, they know why, okay? Soft tissues and essential functions of the coccyx from spine-health.com. There it is, the article here. Serves as a vital insertion site for multiple soft tissues. The coccyx is not vestigial. If you think it is, I'll take yours out. Bend over, okay? Broad, thin muscles on either side of the pelvis attach to the coccyx anterior surface and help support the pelvic organs. You need it, okay? They've known this for a long time. It's not vestigial. Let me go through this forever, okay? There's all kinds of nerves and muscles and ligaments that attach to the coccyx. It's really a complex part of your anatomy. You ever bruise or break your coccyx, you will know it for months afterwards, okay? Vestigial structures, let's see. What do they got? ThoughtCo. Human body has many examples of vestigial structures. You guys are ignorant of your biology, okay? Everybody call them, tell them I said so. Two scientists reported, while it's far from useless, it's no longer a tail. It never was a tail. It's been this way because that's what we needed, just like it is, okay? Human tailbone is a vestigial organ. Explain. Coccyx remains of a tail from our ancestors. This is stupid. I say, if you think it's vestigial, I'll pay to have yours removed. Bend over, okay? Have you ever thought how handy a tail would be? Have you ever come to the door with 2 sacks of groceries? Huh? You could open that door and, walk right in. You could drive down the highway, hold the Coke, and tune the radio knob all same time. Lost it because we didn't need it. That's idiotic. Humans do not have a vestigial tailbone. That's evidence for evolution. It's evidence of a designer. I will praise thee, for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. How about the whales? Is the whale pelvis a vestigial structure? It's no longer used. That's what AJ said in one of the debates I did with him. One of the main lines of evidence is these fairy tale promoters use to fool children and simple-minded adults into joining their cult, is they say whales have bones in their abdomen that they don't need anymore. These bones are not attached to the spine. Joy, do you know where the bone is in our museum, the whale pelvic bone? It's about this big and this big around. I meant to get that for tonight, but oh well. They don't have legs or feet, but with a lot of imagination and manipulation, they can be claimed to be the remnants of hips. Okay, let's see. Whale bones have not attached to the spine. Here's many organisms retain traces of their evolutionary history. I think it's on one of the shelves instead of on with all the, you walk in the last room on the right. I saw it there the other day. But anyway, if you can find it, bring it, okay? Many organisms retain traces of their evolutionary history. The whale retains pelvic and leg bones as useless vestiges. Really? Jeannie Scott at the Berkeley Museum out there, National Center for Misinformation. She said, we're working to defend the teaching of evolution against sectarian attack. That would be religion. We're a nationally recognized clearinghouse for lies for information and advice to keep evolution in the science classroom and scientific creationism out. Well, they stated their purpose, didn't they? There it is, National Center for Science Education in Berkeley, California. When I went there, I just walked in, walked around, looked at their bookstore, all their books on atheism and evolution. One of the guys walked up, looked at me, and said, "Are you Kent Hovind?" His name was Skip, I believe. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, no, you're standing in our building." I said, "That's because I can't fly." When I left, they taped a piece of paper on the floor. Kent Hovind's here. Skip, Jeannie, call for a debate anytime. Both of you together. Come visit Dinosaur Adventureland. Whales have a vestigial pelvis and leg bone that serve no purpose. Really? Serve no purpose. They're evidence of the whale's evolution from four-legged land-dwelling mammals. Many whales have hind limbs, which have been reduced to only a few tiny internal hind limb bones that have no function. Really? Then you're stupid about your whale anatomy, okay? Just imagine whales walking around. It's true. You found it. Yeah, okay, good. These are the bones they're talking about. It's at Los Angeles Museum of Natural History. We were there 2 days ago. We didn't go to the museum. Thank you, brother. Perfect, okay? That's the bone they're talking about right here in a whale. Whale's pelvis? No, sorry. There they are right there. Los Angeles Museum of Natural History. Useless? No. Whale hips play sexy role. 2024. Whale hip bones, left over from long ago days when these cetaceans walked on land, are not useless. Vestigial structures, as long believed, they're for sex. Researchers have now found that the size of whale and dolphin hip bones is linked to the size of the animal's penis. The larger the penis, the larger the bones needed to attach muscles for penis control, according to a new study published in the journal Evolution. Everyone always assumed if you give whales and dolphins a few more million years, the pelvic bones would disappear. Evolutionary biologist, those two words should not go together, at the University of Southern California. But it appears that's not the case. Controlling for body size, researchers compared the size of the whale and dolphin testes to the size of each species' pelvic bones. They found the larger the testes, the larger, relative to the body size, the larger the pelvis. Who would have thunk it, okay? Let's see. Pelvic bones found in modern whales are homologous to the pelvis found in land vertebrates. They have no apparent function. This biology textbook author is dumb. 35 years ago, tell him I said so. The whale's pelvis is evidence of its evolution from four-legged land-dwelling mammal. This is a lie. Video number 4, lies in the textbooks. Call that one up. Okay, cover 30, 40, I forget how many lies. They're weakly developed in the whale and have no apparent function. Biology textbook. ICR did a great article on the whale, so-called whale pelvis. Whales, being the largest animals on Earth, have some impressive physical attributes, including their penis. The size of a whale's penis can vary on species, but here's some facts. Blue whales have the largest, 8 to 10 feet long. But now, whenever I do this, AJ gets all excited talking about penises, doesn't he? Yeah, okay. We know why too, AJ. Okay. Diameter of 12 to 14 inches. Huh. You need some big bones and big muscles to control that thing, okay? Right whale sex involves a 1-ton testicles and 4 meter, that's almost 8 foot, 9 foot long. There it is right there. Come here, honey, okay? The whale's penis is surprisingly agile, controlled by 2 muscles anchored around the pelvis. Anchored to what? What they're claiming are hip bones. Journal Evolution. Evolutionary biologists analyzed the size of the whale's reproductive organ and compared it. You can read all this for yourself. September of 2014, okay? If the whales originated from other tetrapods, should whales use bones that are perfectly suited for controlling their sexual organs instead of showing any vestige of usefulness on land? The whale's pelvis is not a vestigial organ or even a pelvis. That's evidence from evolution. It's evidence of an amazing design. If you look at the way your backbone changes, when you pass the pelvis, it's going to become totally different. The caudal spine beyond the pelvis in dogs, which is part of their tail, is different, okay? You can compare all kinds of the anatomy of these things with the spinal ones. I have the spinous process on the sides and on the top, okay? There we go. It changes right there at the hip bone. Same with cats, same with all these animals, right there. It changes over. Huh. Structure of a canine tail, right past the sacrum. There's a broken one here. Los Angeles Museum, they keep going. They look about the same. This is a long-term study if you want to go into all this. Do dogs have tails? Hamel arches? Yeah. The heart of a whale is huge. They're still teaching this whale pelvis, though, at the University of Oklahoma when I was there. They say some large female whales have similar, though distinct, bones to assist in mating. Ambulocetus, pictured here, is mostly imagination. The dark bones are the only ones they actually found. No pelvic bones, but they concluded what it looked like from the foot bone. Yeah, you can tell, okay. Backbone of the quadrupedal mammal, Ambulocetus, ends at the pelvis, and powerful rear legs extend from it. This is typical land mammal anatomy. In whales, the backbone goes right down to the tail, and there is no pelvic bone at all. Who'd have thunk it, okay? There we go. The stipple bones were all that were found, and the bones colored red were found 5 meters above the rest. But they put them all together in one specimen, didn't they? 16 feet above the rest. I thought you guys said the layers were different ages. How long did he wait around for his pelvis to show up? No, the pelvis came first. Pelvis evolved laying there for millions of years and didn't know what to do till the rest of the whale evolved. I see, okay. Basilosaurus could not possibly have been ancestral to modern whales. They've known this for a long time, but you guys are still teaching it. Why should we believe any fossil we find was capable of doing something no animal today can do? Produce offspring other than their kind. No one's ever seen any of these connections. There are 49 recognized species of turtles and tortoises. Probably had a common ancestor called a turtle or tortoise. There are, 7,300 some types of frogs. They might have had a common ancestor called a frog. It does not prove you can draw a line on paper connecting them at the bottom. We can only imagine. SpongeBob, hey, just imagine. Yeah, the whale's related to a banana. Whoa, just imagine. I can't, okay? Too stupid. Pakicetus, all they found, one small piece of skull, a small piece of jaw, and a few teeth. But they concluded it had a tail and 4 legs. This isn't science, folks. This is evolutionary propaganda is all it is. No pelvic bones were found. Little is known about the tail, but the authors are certain the feet were enormous. Anyway, I get sick of this stuff. I got tons of material on this. Go get all my slides, 50,000 of them now for $100 on a thumb drive. I really take time to go through. Let me one more thought and we'll quit. Here we go. Vestigial organs, American Museum of Natural History. Wrong. Look closely. Pythons and boa constrictors have tiny hind leg bones buried in muscles toward their tail end. Such features, either useless or poorly suited to performing specific tasks, are described as vestigial. They're intriguing evidence of the evolutionary history of species. What? We had the skin from a 15.5-foot albino Burmese python in our museum in Dinosaur Adventureland in Pensacola. You can see near the south end of that critter, these little claws sticking out and the bones going up into the body. What on earth is that for? That's for mating. See? They say it's rudimentary hind legs of a python snake. No, they're not rudimentary hind legs. The snake doesn't have any arms and he cannot talk to say, scoot over, honey. These claws are used during mating to maneuver their mate into position. They do not have anything to do with legs, and they never did. Never did. Vestigial snake legs debunked. Snakes do not have hind legs. That's evidence for evolution. So here's the summary from the Libra text. Scientists compare the anatomy, embryos, DNA of living things to understand how they evolved. Hovind says, scientists compare the anatomy, embryos, and DNA of living things to make claims they evolved, so they don't have to admit there's a designer. They know if they had to admit that all life forms are designed, their students will ask, who's the designer? And they don't know him. That's why they choose evolution. Invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. When they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imagination, and their foolish heart was darkened. They think they're smart, but they became fools. They did not like to retain God in their knowledge. That's where we are today. God gave them over to a reprobate mind. Anyway, okay, comments, questions, Joseph?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 762 by 39 Joe says, wow, I can't believe how bad Kent's interpretation of evolution is.
Can't believe how bad my interpretation of evolution is?
That's what he says. Apparently you're straw manning.
Apparently you're ignorant. I understand it really well. I understand what you believe. You believe. Oh, ask him back there, Joseph, however the name was. Do you believe humans, including yourself, are related to, let's see, a sunflower? Just yes or no. Do you believe you're related to a sunflower? See what he says.
Bobby wants to know where the python skin is. Why don't we have it in our museum?
The python skin. Let me back up a few here. Joseph, I have waited 10 years to answer this question. I think it's time. When I was taken off to prison, I put my son in charge of everything in Pensacola, 12 properties, all my museum stuff, everything. When I got out, first day, my wife said, I'm divorcing you. I'm scared of the IRS after 42 years of marriage. Never touched another woman, okay? You can't stop a divorce in Florida. My son said, Dad, while you were gone, I put everything in my name. Well, this is all mine now. All the museum stuff. I said, he gave me some of it when I came up here, but he still got it. Still got the Ica stones. I've asked him 100 times, son, would you just give me my stuff back? I said, sorry, Dad. He's had me trespass, so if I come on the property, he'll have me arrested. My own property. Well, I was. So it's sad. It's down in Pensacola. You call him, say, hey, when are you going to return your dad's stuff? He'll say, it's not his, it's mine. Okay, that's your position. Rather have python skin than your dad. That's, I think, pretty sad. So, Bobby, we got the other skin in there, but only a few of them have these claws. Pythons and a couple, I forget what's it say here? Pythons and they have these claws. It's used for mating. It's nothing to do with evolution. So I wish I had a better answer, Bobby, for you. I've tried and tried and tried. Just return the stuff. It's not yours, Dad. Okay. Can't argue with that. Let him go. I'll get other things to do. Okay.
Jeremy wants to know, is Dinosaur Adventureland open for Christmas?
We're open all the time. We live here. Come on up.
All right. Are there any historical writings that date back to when the Lord was on the earth during his ministry?
Are there historical writings to back to when the Lord was here? Genesis. Well, talk about the time of Jesus Christ. Yeah, we have a lot of historical writings from, that time frame. Probably AV Publications would know the answer to that one. Authorized version, AV Publications. Gail Rippling, or ask her. Josephus. Yeah, I got all the books up here from that time frame that I know of. Josephus, the books of Enoch. A lot of those are forgeries, so I'd be cautious with that. But it's not my specialty. Okay, I don't know. I don't have an answer. Other questions?
Yeah, the guy said everything is related at some point. Genetics proves that. And you asked him, was he related to it?
So genetics prove. Everything's related because of genetics. Joseph, I have nearly 4,000 books in my library. All of them use the same 26 letters of the English alphabet. That proves something to somebody somewhere. That is such a dumb argument. The fact that there are genetics that are common in each of the different animals proves the same guy wrote the code. Doesn't prove they're related. How can you not look outside that little tiny box you're stuck in? Get out of the box. It's a big world out there. There's a designer who used that code, a very complex code, to make all the creatures. I've said many times, I bet Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint have thousands and thousands of identical lines of code because the same guys are writing the code. I bet if I check spell check in Microsoft Word, it'll take me to the same billion lines of code that I do when I do it in PowerPoint. Same dictionary. It's not proof of evolution. Proof the same guys are writing the code. The similarities in DNA of all the different creatures is evidence for design. God made it. Okay, go ahead.
Creationist Crybaby says, Kent, vestigial does not mean organ or body part is useless. A vestige is a trace or visible sign left by something lost or vanished. So,
Crybaby, do you believe man lost his tail? Is what we see now, the evidence is there's a little bone back there, the coccyx, five of them, it's different in some people. Anyway, You think that, if you want to count the fused ones or the unfused, okay? Do you believe your ancestors used to have a functioning tail, okay? Is that what you're saying? I understand the word vestiges, vestigial, et cetera, like that. Let's see, let me show, is it your position, crybaby, that man used to have a tail, but lost it because we didn't need it? Let's see. And the reason we are losing this, what you're trying to not say is, yes, it used to be longer and we're losing it. Is that your position? If so, you're dead wrong about biology and anatomy. Okay, other questions?
That's about right.
Okay.
Well, the same guy wants to know how you're smarter than all the other scientists.
I never claimed I was smarter than all the scientists, but if you believe you came from a rock and everything came from a dot of nothing exploding, you are really stupid, real stupid. Tell them I said so. Okay. That's why somebody said, I don't like your degree. Okay, call me Bubba, call me Kent, call me Hey You. If they come out of college with a PhD in something and they believe they're related to a potato and they came from a rock, I don't have much respect for their degree either. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, huh? All right, tomorrow night, open chance again. I'll give you guys lots of opportunities. Come on. Why don't any of you get my Making Babies series? And I ask at the end of every one, can you explain how this evolved? The seahorse. How did that evolve? The way they make babies is amazing. The jellyfish, the platypus, the tortoise beetle, whole series. Cichlids, kangaroo, snails, Dumbo octopus. They didn't do any of them, Joseph. I'm so disappointed. I tried to give them lots of targets to shoot at. Maybe they're shooting blanks is the problem. One more?
We had this one come in late. He said it's off topic, but in the future, would you be willing to have a debate on Christianity versus Islam with a Muslim?
No, I got too many irons in my fire. I can't fight every battle. There's other people that already do that. There are plenty of people that do that. That's their calling. My calling is stick with evolution. Like in wartime, you get here's my spot. I'm guarding this part of the field. Okay? Until the boss comes along and says, move over, you stay here, man your position. So it's tempting. Because in the Quran, it says the Bible is correct. And the Bible says Jesus was God in the flesh. Muslims have a real problem with that one. Get the book, I had it here. The Prophet. I think I gave it to somebody. No, it's not in these. It's a full-size comic books. It's great by Jack Chick. Chick.com has it. Okay, that's it, Joseph?
Yes, sir.
Okay, see you tomorrow night if you're brave enough to call in. Come on.